What's up, DC Nation? Welcome back to another video. Today we're checking out Batman #107, 107, The Cowardly Lot, Part 2. Written by James Tynion IV, art by Jorge Jimenez. I put a link to Part 1 of the storyline down below to get you guys caught up if you need it. But, if you guys are ready, let's dive into this issue. Channel 8. Breaking news. A message was left inside Mayor Nakano's home. The message is a threat against the people of Gotham City by the arch-criminal known as Scarecrow. The news continues to report on recent events. Scarecrow was one of the villains found dead on A-Day, the day that Arkham Asylum was hit by Joker toxin and many people died. But how is Scarecrow alive now? Master Wise, leader of the Insanity Collective, thinks Scarecrow's attack is nothing but a hoax by the city government. Master Wise continues to tell Gotham to reject insanity and embrace unsanity. As the news reports, we see Batman make it into Mayor Nakano's household very easily. Batman knows that fear is spreading fast, and he must stop Scarecrow quickly. Batman turns on lights and finds a regular Scarecrow in the dark. Batman checks to see if there's fear toxin on the Scarecrow, but turns out there's nothing. The Scarecrow doesn't seem to be weaponized in any way. It's just straw and burlap on a wooden post. Batman says as he talks to Oracle through comms. Oracle checks to see if anyone planted the Scarecrow, but nothing comes up. She continues to look. It's clever, Oracle. It's a fear attack that doesn't need a toxin. The tension in the city is high enough that he can get people panicky in the streets with a straw man. But panic isn't the purpose. What is Crane trying to accomplish with this? What is this trying to say? Batman says, seems pretty clear to me. Commissioner Renee Montoya says, turning on the lights and aiming your gun at Batman. Batman looks back to see Renee and a multitude of officers ready to shoot. Renee gives Batman a chance to leave nicely. If he doesn't leave, he'll be arrested. Someone is trying to put Nakano in a corner. Keep him afraid, to push him to act. Don't forget to ask the questions that need asking, Batman says. Immediately, Renee Montoya gets infuriated by Batman's comments. But that's when Batman throws a smoke bomb down. You hear a thrash. Batman disappears. Renee tells her men to get her on the phone with Mayor Nakano. She needs to speak with him. We switch to the Electric Town. A man with a knife goes to stab an innocent woman, but that's when Harley Quinn drives up with her motorcycle and knocks the man in the head with her bat. Ah, gee, a good bit of ultraviolence does get the old heart pumping, Harley says as she gets off her motorcycle. Harley confronts the man. She recognizes him. She once knew him as Benji Fink. They calls me Stabbo, Benji says. Oh, you're not too good at naming things, are you? Harley says. Benji starts talking about a jungle in hell. Harley tells Benji that she's got it covered. But then a cop comes up and prepares to arrest Benji. Harley gets frustrated and knocks the cop back with a bat. She looks up and sees all the police officers pointing a gun at her. Officers requesting backup in Electric Town. Harley Quinn is working with a Robson Park stabber and just assaulted an officer, the cops say. Ain't that just typical, Harley says, looking down angry. But then suddenly Ghostmaker shows up and offers an assist. Harley leaves with Ghostmaker out of the situation. Harley leaves Benji tied up though, and the cops find him around smoke. From afar, the gardener watches and she says, she is back in Gotham after all, and that means there's still hope. We shift to the clock tower. What are you working on? Batman asks Barbara. A new bat signal, Barbara says. Barbara believes that there should still be a signal in the sky, even if Nakano is against Batman. Barbara plans on having 12 different bat signals that Batman can go to when they are lit. Cassandra Cain and Stephanie Brown will help Barbara out with this project. What have you dug up on the case so far? Barbara asks. Batman tells Barbara that he's figured out a few things. Scarecrow didn't die on A-Day. It was just a body double. Batman also thinks that someone helped Crane get out of Arkham. Batman gives Barbara some DNA samples from the body double to run. Batman then asks Barbara what she knows about the Insanity Collective. Barbara tells Batman that the Insanity Collective has been around since after the Joker War. They've become more well known though since A-Day. Master Wise, their leader, claims to have gotten his hands on a piece of old Hatter tech and figured out how to use it to erase a person's memories with what he calls a mind machine. He says he wants all Gotham to reboot, shed the traumas of their past and build a new future. He calls his philosophy insanity because it rejects the notions of sane and insane. The Insane Collective are lawbrokers, but also utopian at heart, not the threat they are being built up on the news, Barbara says. Batman thinks that the Insane Collective is at the center of it all. I need to find them, Batman says. I've heard some chatter online that they have an outpost in the Narrows, but the only way to get to the real major players is to join them. So I guess the real question is, Batman, are you ready to go insane? Barbara says as Batman walks away. We switch to Midtown. Simon Saint gets a visit by one of his employees, Ricardo. Simon's been invited to a new A-Day memorial by Mayor Nakano. They're going to be honoring the guard you're eyeing up, Sean Mahoney, Ricardo says. Thank you, Ricardo. Excellent news, Simon says. Ricardo then leaves and Simon gets up saying, the boy's gone. I'm alone. You're never alone. Not in this city. Not anymore, Scarecrow says, stepping out of the shadows. The fear is catching. It spreads to the people of Gotham, Scarecrow says. Yes, I can feel it, Simon responds. If you want your magistrates, we're going to need to advance the experiment to its next phase. That means people are going to die. Can you accept that? Or are you too afraid to save Gotham City? Scarecrow states. We shift to the Narrows. A man walks up to an outpost of the Insane Collective, asking to go in. A guard says, You some kind of cop? The names match. Tell your master Wise, I want in. Matches Malone, aka Bruce, says as rain falls on his back. And that is your latest issue of Batman, written by James Tynion IV, and I thought this issue was solid. Yes, it was a lot of setup, but let's get to the beginning, alright? The beginning, we see that there's a Scarecrow in Nakano's household, and now Gotham is pretty much panicking, because they think there's going to be another attack similar to A-Day, which that was just the attack on Arkham Asylum, where all those people died by like the Joker toxin. So Batman's on the case, and it's cool to see Batman going through this, and he's trying to figure out what's like Scarecrow's purpose. Like, what is he trying to do now? Why is he planting scarecrows all across the city? What's like his main plan? And we see that Scarecrow is actually working with Simon Saint, who Simon Saint is the one who's creating the Magistrate program. So a connection to future states, and it's kind of cool. I like it. I like how there's some setup there. And now Scarecrow is actually putting fear into Simon Saint. So in a way, Scarecrow is going to be the one to really create the Magistrates, which is very interesting. Now, back to Batman. We see Batman in the case. He gets confronted by Commissioner Renee Montoya. And actually, I think that's kind of cool. Seeing Renee Montoya in this big role. And she's working with Nakano. And she's totally against Batman. So someone that Batman's worked with before, he has to deal with this. So that's an interesting thing to start out the issue. Seeing Batman throw like a smoke bomb and barely get away. And then we see he's working with like Oracle, which is Barbara Gordon. And a lot of the issue is just them going over everything that's happening. So it's kind of like a big dump of information, which for some people they may not like that, and at times it is a slog, it's a little slow, but it gets more interesting toward the end of Oracle and Batman's conversation when they start talking about the Insane Collective and how Batman needs to infiltrate it, kind of join them. Like, he needs to join them. He can't just like, take him down by showing up at Outpost or just take him down the streets. No, he has to become one of them and kind of get them to trust him, and then he betrays them. And we see at the end of the issue that he goes to them as Matches Malone. And guys, I always liked Bruce being Matches Malone. Like, that's just a cool side of his character, how he's pretty much disguised as a villain. So that's great, and now he's going to be infiltrating the place. He's going to be going into the Insane Collective, and we'll figure out more stuff, more information next issue. And I think there'll be a lot more action next issue than this one. The only action that we really got in this issue was the whole scene where Harley fights off against Stabbo. Now, Stabbo, that's kind of a dumb name, and the scene is a little dumb at times, like the dialogue isn't as great. I still like seeing Harley try to be like this new psychic. She takes down Stabbo, but then the police go against her, and then she gets saved by Ghostmaker. I think Ghostmaker and Harley can be a really cool team-up, so I'm actually looking forward to that. But one more thing, at the end of that scene, we see the Gardener. Now, the Gardener, cool design, but I just don't care for another new character. There's been so many new characters in James Tynion's run, and some of them been great. But this one really feels like, alright, we have Punchline as like Harley 2.0. What about we have a Poison Ivy 2.0? And that could be the Gardener. It's not very creative. And yeah, this is only her first appearance. We don't see that much of her, so she may become a great character in the coming issues, but for right now, I'm not impressed. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much the issue. It was a setup issue, still solid, and the artwork by Jorge Jimenez is amazing and phenomenal as always. That image of Batman throwing the smoke bomb looks amazing. That final splash image of Matches Malone looks really great. So yeah, I'm gonna give this issue an 8 out of 10. I recommend it, guys. It pushes the plot forward, and you got some phenomenal artwork. But yeah, guys, tell me your thoughts on this issue down below. If you liked the video, give a big thumbs up. New channel, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on my next Batman comic review. And yeah, thanks for watching, and peace out.